Brexit Britain could lead the way in green energy by reviving the production of rare earth magnets, cutting reliance on Chinese imports, and outgunning the EU in the tech industry. There are plans to restart domestic production of super-strong magnets used in electric vehicles and wind turbines with government support, insiders have claimed. A government-funded feasibility study is due to be published on Friday, laying out the steps the UK must take to restart the output of rare earth permanent magnets, the sources said. A magnet factory would help Britain, hosting the COP26 UN climate talks in Glasgow, meet its goal of banning petrol and diesel cars by 2030 and slashing carbon emissions to net zero by 2050. British production of the magnets vanished in the 1990s when industry found it could not compete with China. However, the ongoing energy crisis means the government is keen to secure its own supply, with the potential for exporting the highly sophisticated material. Last month, the government set out plans to achieve its net zero strategy, which includes spending £850 million to support the rollout of electric vehicles and their supply chains. The study outlines how a plant could be built by 2024 and eventually produce enough of the powerful magnets to supply 1 million electric vehicles a year. One of the sources said, "We're looking to turn the tide of shipping all this kind of manufacturing to the Far East and resurrect UK manufacturing excellence." The government's Department for Business declined to comment on details regarding a possible magnet factory because the report has not been released. The government continues to work with investors through our Automotive Transformation Fund (ATF) to progress plans to build a globally competitive electric vehicle supply chain in the UK, a spokesperson said in an email. British rare earth company Less Common Metals put together the feasibility study and is considering seeking partners to jointly build the factory, the sources said. LCM is one of the only companies outside of China that transforms rare earth raw materials into the special compounds needed to produce permanent magnets. Automakers will need the magnets as they ramp up EV output in Britain. Ford said last month it would invest up to £230 million in an English plant to produce around 250,000 EV power units a year from mid-2024. A current global shortage of semiconductors means the production of British-made supermagnets would be a welcome addition to car manufacturing and distribution in the future. Rare earth magnets made of neodymium are used in 90% of EV motors because they are widely seen as the most efficient way to power them. Electric cars with these magnets require less battery power than those with ordinary magnets, so vehicles can travel longer distances before recharging. A race by automakers to ramp up EVs and countries to switch to wind energy is due to boost demand for permanent magnets in Europe as much as tenfold by 2050, according to the European Union. The sources said government support would be vital so Britain could compete with China, which produces 90% of the world's supply. The strategy mirrors similar efforts by the EU and the United States to create domestic industries of raw materials, rare earth processing and permanent magnets. Both the EU and the US have recently seen huge government funding into such elements. Figures in the U.S. promise in excess of $50 billion as part of the post-COVID recovery fund. The EU has attempted to emulate the US figures, but only 10 EU nations have committed to the project, potentially undermining the adventurous project.